Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how we test GPUs. I'm recording this video for three reasons. The first is to give you an insight into how we test cards. Transparency means a lot to me and I want you to know everything we do and how we do it. The second reason is that I want your feedback, especially a critical look at what you would like us to fix or to add in the GPU tests. It would mean a lot to me if you watched this video to the end. We have some really good people following us and I'm pretty sure there's something I missed. The third reason is that I don't want to spend several minutes in every video card reviews to show you how we test GPUs. In every video card review you will find the link to this video. Let's see what I came up with. This is the right time to renew and improve our testing methodology. The RTX 50 series is out. We are heavily testing the 5080 while the 5070 models are on their way. AMD's RDNA 4 cards are also on the way, so these two architectures will be in use for the next 2 years, as will our test methodology. For GPU testing purpose, I'm using a Ryzen 7 78000X3D CPU. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get the 98000X3D in time, also we're out of budget at the moment, but this is still a good CPU to show the real stuff when it comes to the GPU testing. Motherboard is also a very important thing. Asus, as our partner, came out with the X670E Gene board. I know that Asus hasn't really excelled with their motherboards lately, but their BIOS is the best on the market. I'm used to their environment, I'm familiar with it, I know what I'm doing in the BIOS, which is very important when testing GPUs. The choice of RAM fell on G.Skill Trident Z 2 sticks of 32GB at a frequency of 6000 MHz. CPU and RAM are well balanced, stable and always work in the same conditions and with the same performance. For CPU cooling we use EK Nucleus water cooling of 240mm size. All programs are located on SN850X M.2 NVMe device of 2TB, while the whole system is powered by FSP Hydro Ti Pro 1000 watts power supply, which has RTX 3.0 certificate. All this is housed in Hyte Y60 case. I wanted 70, but it wasn't on offer when I built this machine. You probably noticed that the video card sits vertically on PCIe cable. This is for presentation and picture purpose only. We test all cards directly in the PCIe 5.0 slot on the motherboard. That's it for the components we test our video cards on. The next thing to do is to install a fresh Windows and tweak it. We have been through the installation of Windows many times. I think even the sparrows on the branch know how to install Windows. I'm just going to show you briefly in Word document how I configured Windows and what I did to make this system work even better. I will be making a video soon on how to tweak Windows 11 and 10 so you can use my methods. But basically we turn off unnecessary things that take up system resources. Installing support programs and drivers is very important. First, when you install the new system, you need to install all the necessary motherboard drivers. These are chipset, audio, LAN, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi drivers if your board has them, VGA drivers if you have a processor with integrated GPU. Basically, install all the drivers provided by the manufacturer for your motherboard model. And let's not forget the GPU drivers. Without them, no graphics card will work with Windows to its full potential. It is very important that you also have some other supporting programs. Usually all new games install Visual C++, Net Framework and DirectX, but only in the latest versions. It sometimes happens that programs look for some older versions of Visual C++ that certain DLL files are only found in the DirectX 9 version, so I like to install these programs manually. In addition to these programs, we use MSI Afterburner and RTSS for these overlay you see. We use HW-info to display data and collect data in CSV file, and of course there are gaming platforms such as Steam, Epic Games and Ubisoft Connect. If necessary, we received FrameView and iCAD programs for NVIDIA to monitor parameters such as latency. For you, it's very important that my idea is not to show you how the video card performs in a specific game, but to do a comprehensive test to show you how the tested GPU performs in relation to other video cards. That's why we have more tests and more engines. All these games are optimized in detail. We do not use ultra default settings and that laziness of developers not to optimize these settings. We tested every setting and I managed to find the best ratio of looks and performance. It's true that the game looks best on the ultra setting, but it often happens that the low and ultra settings are visually the same and we lose 10% of the performance, so I made an effort and checked all these options. We have divided the game test into 4 main categories. The first category is Raster performance test without these new frame generation wonders, and for this we only use in-game benchmarks because this is the best way to simulate the same situation over and over again and know that the results are reliable. There are no variables, new scenes, new situations, everything is already pre-programmed. I know these are numbers you'll see in games. These are strictly controlled conditions, but I also wanted to point out that our goal is to show you how GPU cards compares to other cards under the same condition as possible. Also, the FPS you see on the screen is usually lower than what we show in the graphs. We record our test without taking records or screenshots, while the gameplay is purely for presentation purposes. The numbers are very similar, but 3 to 5% lower when screenshots and records are taken. I'll show you the full list of programs and their settings that will be used for future tests. First game is Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Another is Black Myth Wukong Benchmark Tool. The third is Returnal. Fourth, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Fifth, F1 2460 Civilization 7. The seventh game is Callisto Protocol. 8th, Assassin's Creed Mirage. 9th, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate on Steam. This is very important. GOG version is different. 10th and the last is Total Warhammer 3. The second group of tests includes games that support DLSS 4 and FSR 3.1 and will be updated to FSR 4 soon. The first game is Cyberpunk 2077. I'm sure it has DLSS 4, but I'm not sure it will have FSR 4 support, but it's in on the list for now. The second one is God of War Ragnarok. The third is Marvel Rivals, 4th Revenant 2, 5th is Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. Since these games do not have benchmark tests included, we will test in the in-game performance in several saved locations. And since Marvel Rivals is an online game similar to Overwatch, we will test the performance there in a quick match. To give you an idea of how complex this job is, we will also test all these games on native setting to include in the test base and test charts. We'll also test under DLSS for NVIDIA cards, FSR for AMD cards, and XeSS for Intel cards. These AI options have as many as 5 settings and we will test each one. These are very demanding and serious tasks that take a lot of time. That's why we cannot test the GPUs so quickly. The third group of tests includes games that have a full implementation of ray tracing called path tracing. We'll use these games exclusively to test ray tracing cards and their presentation. The first game is Cyberpunk 2077, the second is Alan Wake 2, the third is Star Wars Outlaws, the fourth Dragon Age The Veilguard, the fifth and the last game is Black Myth Wukong. These 5 games contain full implementation of ray tracing and DLSS, so they are well suited for testing NVIDIA cards. The idea is to show how the game behaves under the most demanding ray tracing conditions, and at the same time to show the differences between the new DLSS and RT upgrades. The fourth group of tests are synthetic tests, namely Blender, Procyon, AI Text Generator, 3D Mark and Superposition. These tests will not only serve to compare numbers synthetically in production applications, but we will also use their data to show other performances such as thermal, acoustic, frequency and power consumption tests. As far as resolution go, I test games at resolutions that I think are appropriate for the graphics card. For example, there's no need to test the RTX 4060 at 4K, but there's also no point in testing the RTX 5090 at 1080p. You didn't buy either card to use it in those conditions. I'm usually going to include 2 resolutions, but there are some mid-range cards where I would like to see how they perform in both 1080p and 4040p as well as 4K. As for charts, we will always have thermal, acoustic, frequency and performance. We'll have graphs of consumption and efficiency per watt. We will have charts of performance and profitability of the graphics card, more precisely how many dollars one FPS costs you, whether it is at MSRP prices or real prices on the market. My idea is to show the complete picture of graphics card, and I hope that with such detailed analysis I will always be able to do that. What I plan for the future is that as soon as a new game worth mentioning comes out, I will show how it behaves with the graphics cards we have in the workshop. So we have a project that we want to complete after releases of the next generation, at least as far as GPU card testing is concerned. That's it for our video card testing methodology. I hope you understand that complexity, how difficult and time consuming this challenge is. I'm not done yet, I haven't even finished the Word document. Just look at how many headings and subheadings there are and how much content there is. Not to mention that with every new generation Nvidia and AMD send us their 100-page architecture documents. A lot of work. I know it looks easy, but believe me, it is not easy, but I do what I set out to do. That's it. If you have any advice, I'm available for criticism. My eyes are on the comment section. I want to hear your feedback. It means a lot to me because again, there's no point in doing this if it doesn't mean anything to you. See you soon.